Good morning, I'm Mike from Scoutadelic, and this month is all about Scout doors. Ideas that you can do both indoors and outdoors, whether you're social distancing, whether you're on Zoom calls, who knows. So today is First Aid Friday. Now, usually with some first aid you do need another person. Now I can't obviously do that because I'm on my own. So I'm gonna roll us back to episode 26, which had Sean, who showed us a few first aid skills. So here you go. What skill are you going to teach me and these guys watching right now?
This isn't just a scouting skill, this is a skill for life.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I'm going to teach you a skill that you might have done in your emergency aid badge.
Right.
Level 3.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm going to teach you how to recognise signs of life and start CPR.
Wow, okay. Alright, so what do we need for it? What's the best way of learning it if they're at a hall or anything like that? Is there anything that they can do?
So if they've got access to local hospitals that have equipment, or some groups might have their own equipment, then they could do the mannequin.
Okay.
If they haven't got access to that, what they can do is they can log on and they can go onto Lifesaver and they can play it virtually.
Okay, well luckily enough we have two mannequins, so let's get to the floor and find out what we need to do. So we have our mannequins, so what do we need to do? Teach us through it.
So I need you to use a little bit of imagination.
Right, yeah.
That this is a whole person.
Okay,
that has collapsed in front of me.
Right.
Annie, can you hear me? Have a hand, please. Mike, can you call on your mobile phone 112 please and ask for an ambulance?
Yeah, of course.
Tell them there's an adult in cardiac arrest.
Right, okay.
And come back and tell me when you've done it.
So, walk us through it then. So, obviously there was a lot to take in there. What's the first thing that they should be obviously doing straight away? As in, they've collapsed in front of you, so what's it?
The very first thing I want everyone to think about is their own safety.
Right, okay, yeah.
So before anybody rushes in, they want to actually make sure that it's safe for them to do so.
Okay.
If it's not safe to do so, it might be they actually have to call for help from where they are.
I'm guessing at the end of the day, they've got to think of if they run towards it and they're going to be in danger, then there's two casualties, and if they're in the middle of nowhere, no one else might be passing by. So always make sure that you're safe. So number one is you. Okay. So if we're safe and we're perfectly fine, then
I want to know if this person is dead or alive.
Right, okay.
Unlikely they're sunbathing in here, but if it was outside,
there
could
of course.
be.
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually check for some kind of response.
Right, okay.
In doing so, I'm going to shout into both ears because they might not be able to hear that well.
Right, okay.
And I'm going to give them a little bit of stimulus to the shoulders as well.
Right, okay. All right.
So, like, Annie, can you hear me? Can you open your eyes? Shouting to both ears is giving them every opportunity to wake up.
Right.
And if I get hold of that trapezius muscle here,
oh right, oh yeah,
give it a good squeeze. That actually hurts, and you've given them a little bit of stimulus that if they can wake up, they will do. She didn't respond to me, so I want to know now whether she's actually breathing. Right. So I need to think about her airway, which is obviously your mouth and your nose.
Yeah.
And before I open it fully, I just have a quick visual look to see if there's anything obvious there.
Right, okay, yeah.
And then I'm going to do a head tilt chin lift.
Okay.
So putting two fingers just on that bony part of the chin.
Right.
One hand on the forehead.
Yeah.
And tilting that head back to open up that area.
Okay.
At that point, I want to look, listen and feel for up to 10 seconds. So I'm looking at that chest. I want to see normal rise and fall for normal breathing.
Okay.
I'm listening with my ear above her mouth and nose because she could be breathing through either. Yeah. And I'm trying to hear that breathing. Right. And I'm trying to feel it on my cheek.
Right. Okay.
Don't just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
I like counting elephants.
Right.
Strawberries work as well. Whatever you want to go with. If I get to that point and there are no signs of life, or there's no signs of normal breathing, I'm going to assume they're in cardiac arrest.
Right, okay.
If there's nobody else around, at that point I'm going to get my phone out of my pocket and call for an ambulance myself. Right. Putting it on hands-free, on the floor. Right. And speaking to the ambulance crew. Okay. You were here. Yes. You can do that bit for me. Yeah. And I'm starting my CPR. Right, okay. up onto my knees so that I can get my shoulders above my wrists.
Right.
Linking one hand over the other like that. Doesn't matter which way, which hand, as long as you've got it
right.
one way or the other.
Yeah.
I want all the pressure on my hand to go through this bit here.
Right.
Centre of the chest. Lower half of that breastbone, sternum.
Okay. Yeah.
So my shoulders are above my wrist, and I'm now going to compress at a depth of 5 to 6 centimetres.
How would you know? That's the thing. Obviously, when you're doing it, how do you know that that is 5 or 6 centimetres? Is there something that...
In an adult, it works out roughly about a third of the depth of their chest.
Right, okay.
So it's judging the size of it, but most people sort of can aim for around about that sort of depth, and a rate of 100 to 120, which if you think about it is a maximum of 2 in a second. How
many of them do you need to do in total?
So I do, initially while I'm talking to you,
yes.
I don't need to count because it's really difficult to count and ask you to phone for an ambulance.
Right.
And I can think about, I've probably done 30, but I'm not sure because I didn't count.
Yeah.
So I then went to my 2 breaths and back to 30 and 2.
So you keep on doing 30,
and then 2,
and then 30 again. Okay.
Not everybody likes to do mouth to mouth.
Right, okay.
And we appreciate that. But if you don't want to do mouth to mouth, just do compressions only.
Right.
Doing compressions only is better to do something rather than to do nothing.
Right, okay, alright.
So it's going back to your head tilt chin lift
again.
Yeah,
okay.
But this time, it's squeezing the nostrils shut.
Yes.
And then you need to make your mouth big enough to go completely around their mouth.
Right, okay.
And blow enough that the chest rises. You're not blowing up a balloon.
Right.
It's not a competition.
Okay.
You bring your mouth well away in between. Second breath and straight back into
straight back into 30s. It's amazing. Thank you very much. So hopefully you can use this for your first aid badge, or you never know. Hopefully you might save someone's life in the future. If you like that video, then don't forget to subscribe, share and like in some sort of order, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.